Adequate notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 7, 2022. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper, posted on public bulletin boards and the Township website.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Here.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Here.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Here.
Councilman Halloran.
Here.
Vice President Crate.
Here.
President Menachino.
Here.
Thank you.
So I'd like to take a minute to salute the flag, please, in a moment of silence. Thank you. You guys should come all the time. That was great. Yeah, yeah. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the March 22nd meeting, please?
Motion. Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
So apparently we have cheerleaders here today. So I'd like to call up the coaches, the Brick Dragons Division 10 cheerleading team, and Councilwoman Zapsik, please. Come up front.
We're united.
So it doesn't say anything. Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry, it's okay.
So, ladies, I am sorry that the mayor could not be here tonight. He was very disappointed, but he did have another engagement on his calendar that had been there for some time. But he said to me, and I have this message from him, that he thought it was very important that someone that looked like you, who's a lot older than you, but someone who looks like you should give this honor. So it's really my honor to be able to make this presentation on behalf of Mayor Ducey tonight. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, I would like to introduce the leaders and coaches of Brick United, Division 10 cheer team. They are head coach Jennifer Burgess and Maria Flores, assistant coaches Nicole DiStefano, Jillian Lecandro, and Catherine Murphy, administrator Holly Geronimo, and student demonstrators Caitlin Romero, Alexandra Marlowe, and Hannah Storch. So we have, going to present the proclamation on behalf of Mayor Ducey. So whereas Brick Township is a community with a rich tradition of youth sports teams and programs, and whereas this past season, the Brick United Division 10 cheer team faced great competition, but upheld that tradition and added to their own chapter by competing at the highest level in the American Youth Football and Cheer Organization. And whereas their season consisted of capturing first place at the American Youth Cheer Nationals on December 12, 2021 in Florida, and won the YCADA Global Championship on February 26, 2022 in Atlantic City. And whereas the Division 10 cheer team members are as follows: Lillian Martinez, Isabella DiStefano, Charlene Nemiroff, Olivia DeFalco, Malaya Gagliardi, Madison Lyden, Lily Portaleos, Kayla Murphy, Campbell Matos, Gianna Lecandro, Adelina Paolello, Abigail Alamo, Jacqueline Marlowe, Isabella Derices, Isabella Flores, Alyssa Crotty, Lucienza DiMaggio, Summer Sullivan, Jordan Frick, Juliana Burgess, Corinne Matos, and Lorelei Paliello. And whereas the coaches and student demonstrators of the Brick United Division cheer team are head coaches Jennifer Burgess and Maria Flores, assistant coaches Nicole DiStefano, Jillian Lecandro, and Catherine Murphy, administrator Holly Geronimo, and student demonstrators Caitlin Romero, Alexander Marlowe, and Hannah Storch. Now, therefore, on behalf of Mayor John G. Ducey, Mayor of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, in the state of New Jersey, in honor of their outstanding season that culminated in their first place victories at the American Youth Cheer National Championship and the YCADA Global Championship, I do hereby proclaim Wednesday, May 11th, 2022, to be Brick United Division Cheer Team Day in Bricktown.
So that's why they let her go first. First of all, she's better looking. She can say all the names. But really, congratulations, ladies. Really, unbelievable accomplishment. What I have, I'm not going to read exactly what she said, but I have resolutions for the coaches. It pretty much says the same thing, but on behalf of the mayor, and he does apologize for not being here, and the council that's behind me, again, congratulations.
And at this time, the mayor also prepared certificates for all the girls. And I would ask the coaches if they would come up and present. Because I can only do those names once.
Lily Martinez. Isabella DiStefano. Charlene.
Stay up.
Charlene, stay over here. Malia. Madison. Lily P. Kayla. Campbell. Gianna. Addie. Abby. Jackie. Isabella.
It's like she was doing a triple Lindy.
All right, thank you. This brings us to our consent agenda.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Thank you. Resolution 4-1.
Recognize Brick United Division 10 cheer team.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution recognizes the accomplishments of the Brick United Division 10 cheer team. The team capped a remarkable season by taking first place at both the American Youth Cheer Nationals and at the Youth Cheer and Dance Alliance Global Championships. Thank you.
Resolution 4-2.
Authorize amendment to the 2022 temporary capital budget.
This resolution authorizes amendments to the capital budget. Later in the meeting, the council will be asked to introduce the 2022 capital budget with projects in the 5, 7, 10, and 15-year life ordinances. This resolution amends the budget by specifying the various projects that go on within the ordinance. Resolution 4-3.
Authorize refund from police road job account.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes a refund from the Township's police road job account in the amount of $1,375 to National Church Residences.
Resolution 4-4.
Authorize insertion of Chapter 159, 2022, Sustained Enforcement DWI and Distracted Driver Grant.
Councilwoman Pontarera.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the insertion of a $24,960 grant from the State of New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety for sustained enforcement of DWI and distracting driving programs. Thank you.
Resolution 4-5.
Authorize insertion of Chapter 159, 2022, Municipal Alliance Grant.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
This resolution authorizes the insertion of a $7,371.02 grant from the Ocean County Health Department for the 2022 Municipal Alliance Grant Program. Thank you.
Resolution 4-6.
Authorize insertion of Chapter 159, 2022, Ocean County Tourism Grant.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the insertion of $1,575 grant from the Ocean County Tourism Advisory Council for the Township's Farmers Market.
Resolution 4-7.
Authorize insertion of Chapter 159, 2022, Pump Out Boat Program.
Councilman Halloran.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the insertion of a $40,000 grant from the Ocean County Planning Board for the Pump Out Boat Program.
Resolution 4-8.
Authorize insertion of Chapter 159, 2019 Recycling Grant.
This resolution authorizes the insertion of a $114,998.73 grant from the State of New Jersey Hazardous Waste Recycling Tonnage Grant Program. Resolution 4-9.
Authorize award of bid Summerfest food vendor trucks, or truck vendors, remaining categories.
Councilman Halloran.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the award of bid to the following food truck vendors: Atlantic Roasters, Brick, with a bid of $1,500, Simply Sofrito, Howell, with a bid in the amount of $900, and Tony's Italian Sausage, Hazlitt, with a bid in the amount of $1,576. These vendors will provide different specialty items at the Summerfest Concert Series. Bid notices were provided to 102 prospective bidders and 7 picked up bid packages. 4 bids were received and the 3 highest bids are being awarded. Thank you.
Resolution 4-11. Oh, I'm sorry, 4-10.
Authorize award of bid roadway improvements to Roadway Valley Phase 3.
Councilman Albanese.
Thank you, President. This resolution authorizes the award of bid for roadway improvements for Woodland Valley Phase 3 to Z Brothers Concrete Contractors, Saraville, in the amount of $434,404.94. The project generally consists of hot mix asphalt pavement and other associated work on Turkey Point Road, Winding River Road, Winding River Court, Winding River Lane. Bid notices were provided for 77 bidders from our bidders list. 9 requested bid packages. 7 bids were received with the pricing ranging from $434,404.94 to $595,000, $565, with Z Brothers being the lowest responsive bidder.
Thank you. Resolution 411.
Authorize award of contract through Bergen County Cooperative Large Town Enterprise License.
Thank you. Councilwoman Crate.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the award of contract to renew the township's license with Large Town Enterprise Somerset in the amount of $57,000 through the Bergen County Co-op. The contract is the annual renewal of the Spatial Data Logic Enterprise from SHI International. Spatial Data Logic is the software used by our building department as well as code enforcement for all permit tracking and code violations.
Resolution 412.
Authorize special events permit lacrosse tournament.
Councilman Albanese.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes a special event permit for Outside the Crease LLC to conduct a lacrosse event on June 18th and 19th between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. at the Drum Point Sports Complex.
413 bond release.
413A is a performance bond release for Michael Thomas Brown on Princeton Avenue in the amount of $3,375.72. 13B is an inspection fund release for F. Wackenhut Company on Chambersbridge Road in the amount of $250.
Thank you. 414.
Thank you. 14A, 100% DAV refund and cancel taxes for Block 400.12, Lot 18. 14B is 100% DAV refund and cancel taxes for Block 446.02, Lot 7. And 14C are tax overpayments. There are two for the years 2021 and 2022.
Thank you. Resolution 415.
Authorize adoption of a beach management plan for the protection of federal and state listed species.
This resolution adopts the beach management plan to protect the federal and state listed species in conjunction with the New Jersey DEP and the United States Department of Fish and Wildlife. The township has created a beach management plan for the purpose of protecting federal and state listed wildlife species. This resolution confirms with the township's intent to follow the guidelines of the plan to ensure the beach operation supports of protected wildlife. This ends our consent agenda. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion?
Second.
Open to council? None. Open to public for questions on the resolutions only. Yes, sir, Mr. Fennell.
Vic Finelli, couple of quick questions. The species management plan, I assume that has to do with nesting birds, is that? what
There's a
it's-
couple species, yes.
Yeah, okay. Just one recommendation, I don't know who's involved in the township. One of the biggest problems you have with nesting birds is what eats the eggs. And really, you're talking about the foxes, the raccoons, the skunks, and the possums. If you're really gonna grow the population of birds, you need to take care of that population. On one of the bonded things, there's $550,000 for Emma Havens Young Elementary School. Somebody tell me what that's for?
Parking lot project.
For the school or for the township property that borders?
Was that a bond release, Mr. Finelli?
It's one of the
No.
bond ones, yes.
It's on the, in the capital resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's what confused me. Okay, I thought you said bond, yeah, okay, so.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so that is the park, that is the township responsibility at the school. It's on their property, but we applied for Green Acres funds years ago, so that is our responsibility to maintain, and we do maintain that little skateboard park area. And we're going to refurbish that.
Okay, so it's really not the school, it's,
It's us, yeah.
okay. And just from my own, and looking at all these bond things, I got some questions later, but it looks like that you got about $10 million worth, you put up about 5%, and then you're bonding about $9.5 million, is that right?
Our total is 10 million, so. total
Yeah, but,
capital
I mean,
budget.
normally you
Yeah,
put up
there's
about
soft costs
5%.
included in that.
We're never gonna get that number down if we keep adding to it.
Well, we still are making progress on the debt reduction plan under the assumption that we're gonna go ahead and do a $10 million capital budget every year.
Okay, I'll have one other question at the end.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from public, please? Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
yes,
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
It brings us to our bill resolution for computer.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $23,345,513.18.
Thank you. Can I get a motion in a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public for questions on the bill, computer resolution only. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
yes,
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to a manual bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $3,661,548.34.
Thank you. Can I get a motion in a second?
motion,
Second.
Open to council. Close council. Open to public for questions on the manual bill resolution only. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
yes,
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes. This brings us to ordinance on a first reading, 5-1.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing the Township Code, Chapter 86, entitled Alcoholic Beverages.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. The Council's Public Safety Committee is recommending this ordinance requiring licensed liquor establishments, both on and off premises, to do responsible beverage server training. The training is available free for establishments and is beneficial as it makes these establishments eligible for an insurance discount. The training includes recognizing fake IDs, excessive drinking, how to intervene with problem customers who may have had too much to drink, etc. There are 3 township employees who are trained to conduct the training. Additionally, there is free training for establishments available through the DART Prevention Coalition of Ocean County. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion in a second?
motion,
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
yes,
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank
This
you.
brings us to ordinance on a first reading, 5-2.
Bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements and acquisitions in and by the Township of Brick in the County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, appropriating $2,375,677 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,256,894 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes, thank you. This explanation covers all the bond ordinances that we'll be discussing this evening. The township's capital budget totals $10 million, $1.5 million of which is set aside for flood mitigation. The proposed capital budget has been reviewed and discussed by the council's Recreation Committee, Public Works Committee, and Public Safety Committee. Highlights of this year's capital budget includes a lightning warning alert system at the beach, new consoles for dispatch, design costs for Public Works master site plan, 2 new garbage trucks and a rear loader, improvements at Mallard Point Park, and roadway paving projects and drainage projects.
Thank you. Can I get a motion in a second?
Motion.
Open to council. Closed council. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
yes,
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to a 5-2 bond, or 5-3 bond ordinance, 7-year life.
Bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements and acquisitions in and by the Township of Brick in the County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, appropriating $452,320 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $429,704 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Can I get a motion in a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open council. closed councils. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zepsic.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
yes,
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to 5-4, 10-year life.
Bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements and acquisitions in and by the Township of Brick in the County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, appropriating $3,286,300, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,121,987 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you. Can I get a motion in a second?
motion,
Second.
second,
Open to council. Seeing none, closed council. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zepsic.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
yes,
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to 5-5, 15-year long.
Bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements and acquisitions in and by the Township of Brick in the County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, appropriating $3,885,700, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,691,415 in bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
Thank you. A motion in a second, please.
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Closed council. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zepsic.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
yes,
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to an ordinance on a second reading, 6-1.
An ordinance vacating any rights to a public right-of-way across property known as Block 857, Lot 22, Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey.
The council's land use committee is recommending vacating the public right-of-way on Division Street. This request was originally reviewed by a committee in August 2021. At the time, the residents reached out in regards to a suspected error on the tax map. The suspected error appeared as a 10-foot wide easement on the tax map that runs through the properties at 35 Division Street, Block 857, Lot 22. The easement passes through both lots 22 and 23, the neighboring property. This easement actually originated in Lot 23 as a 10-foot wide right-of-way. This was determined by a deed from 1956 for the specific tract of land that mentions the establishment of the right-of-way was occurring during the civil engineering plan in 1951. The township has been provided with the survey map certified letters from the neighboring properties owners confirming no interest in the termination of the easement. Can I get a motion in a second?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Open to council. Seeing none, closed council. Open to public. Mr. Finelli. No, just for this one. Seeing none, roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zepsic.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
yes,
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes. This brings us to 6-2.
Bond ordinance providing for the dredging of the Nageco Beach Lagoon, Block 97, lots 96 through 114, and Block 98, lots 1, 2, 83 through 95, in and by the Township of Brick in the County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, appropriating $300,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $285,700 in bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof, and the special assessment of the cost thereof.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran.
Thank you, Council President. The township has acquired a statewide dredge permit from the New Jersey DEP, a project that was for years in the making. Our engineering department has identified 5 priority areas in need of dredge and have identified Nageco Lagoon as the first lagoon to be dredged. The project is slated to start in June. The 2022 capital budget includes the upfront costs needed to begin this project. This bond ordinance is needed to secure the funding for the project, which will be done via special assessment. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion in a second.
motion,
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, closed council. Open to public on this. Yes, sir.
Stephen Brill, Jenny Court. These questions are regarding the Nageco Beach Lagoon dredging project. Brick Township's bonding and assessing homeowners that have docks along the lagoon poses questions that have not been answered in public. Who owns this lagoon? Is Brick Township paid? If Brick Township paid for the dredging previously, what changed? Does this assessment confer ownership rights to those assessed homeowners? Will this proposed assessment be tax deductible? In which case, the other taxpayers in New Jersey will pick up the cost of this deduction. The proposed assessment creates a precedent by saying that any project that affects an area of homeowners, they should pay for that project. What this precedent does is shift Brick Township's tax burden from sharing a project's cost township-wide to impacted homeowners. I wonder if this concept could be employed by the township in situations where homeowners might be impacted by coastal river or lagoon flooding benefited by a project be the only ones assessed. If the project does not impact where I live, why should I pay for your project? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from public? Seeing none, close public, roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crete.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes. This brings us to public comments.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Thank you. Mr. Finelli?
First, a couple quick questions on the alcohol training, whatever you want to call
Yes,
that.
sir.
Is that every restaurant that serves alcohol?
Every licensed establishment, so it's liquor stores, so, which is off-premise, and restaurants and club licenses.
Okay. How long does that training take? Where is it done? And how long do they have to complete it?
So it's about a 3 to 4 hour training. I think the off-premises curriculum is shorter. I think that's more like 3. I think the on-premises is more like 4. It's done live. That's at the restaurant's discretion. They can maybe get together as a group and host one. And I used to work for the Dart Coalition years ago, and they would actually go, River Rock would have my staff go in regularly and do that training on site.
Oh, okay. Curious. Last question. Does the Brick Police Department have a SWAT team? Weapons and tactics, that's SWAT.
Emergency response team.
Okay,
CERT,
special-
S-E-R-T.
Okay. The reason I was asking, because I was looking at some of the things that we're purchasing here, and I was curious. 10 Colt 5.56 millimeter short-barreled rifles. I'm assuming that the sound suppressors also go with those rifles. And the one that surprised me the most, a Remington 700 with a loophole scope. That's the gun I use to kill moose and bears and caribous and things like that. Is this for the SWAT team or?
CERT, it's CERT. It's called CERT, Special Emergency Response Team. We don't call it SWAT.
Okay.
And it's not the same CERT, spelled with a C, that's Community Emergency Response Team, so don't confuse the two.
Okay,
Okay, so it's for the CERT team.
okay. I was just curious as whether they were, some of the townships, they're upgrading the police cars that have shotguns, and they're taking the shotguns out and putting rifles in instead. This is for your special team.
Our Special Emergency Response Team, correct.
Okay. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Sluka?
Good evening, I'll read my letter. John Sluka, 950 Sylvia Court, May 3rd. Mayor Ducey, Council President Vincent Menachino, and all councilmen, councilwomen of Brick, and everybody, residents and workers, all in Brick and Ocean County. Maybe a few questions and answers from the Environmental Protection Agency will make many of us understand the problems associated with the toxins spewed by the traffic of the Garden State Parkway. Though we hear so many facts by various agencies and medical groups, we cannot seem to ever get the state government and the politically paid back bureaucracy to care. 14 to 20-foot walls, public pollution, safety, and noise walls, and increased forestation to curtail some of the damage caused by the illegal actions of the commissioners of the New Jersey Turnpike Authority are needed on the Garden State Parkway, adjacent to areas of Evergreen Woods, Primrose Garden, Greenbrier, Birchwood, Brick High, Brick American Field, Town Hall, Sutton Village, Lanes Mill, and other places in Brick and Ocean County. The EPA states there are health impacts and effects associated with proximity to major roads. These include asthma onset and aggravation, cardiovascular disease, reduced lung function, impaired lung development in children, preterm and low birth weight infants, childhood leukemia, and premature death. Let's ask the families and taxpayers who have poured millions of dollars into educating their children, who have been impacted in the womb of the mothers-to-be and in later life, in school programs for young children who now face years of challenges to many of these autistic children who have been impacted by the toxins of the Garden State Parkway. Some questions and answers. What are concerns associated with living, working, or attending school near major roadways? EPA says air pollutants from cars, trucks, and other motor vehicles are found in concentrations near major roads. People who live, work, or attend school near major roads appear to have an increased incidence and severity of health problems associated with air pollution exposure related to roadway traffic, including high rates of asthma onset and aggravation, cardiovascular disease, impaired lung development in children, preterm and low birth weight infants, childhood leukemia, and premature deaths. Directly emitted pollutants include particle matter, carbon monoxide, oxides of nitrogen, and benzene. Though hundreds of chemicals are emitted by motor vehicles also emit compounds that lead to the formation of other pollutants in the atmosphere, such as nitrogen dioxide, which is found in elevated concentrations near your major roads, and ozone, which forms further downwind. Beyond vehicle tailpipe and evaporation emissions, roadway traffic also emits brake and tire debris and can throw road dust into the air. Individually and in combination, many of these pollutants found near roadways have been associated with adverse health effects. People who live, work, or attend school near these major roadways have an increased incidence. What is a major road, and how close to such a road do we have to live, work, or attend school? What is near it? Research finding indicated roadway generally influence air pollutant within a few hundred meters. Heavily traveled roadways or along corridors with significant trucking traffic or rails. Are some people at greater risk to being close to these major highways or high traffic areas? Yes. Children, older adults, people with pre-existing cardiopulmonary disease, and people in low socioeconomic status among those at high risk for health impacts from air pollutants near roadways. EPA scientists funded through the EPA grant study to study the association between roadway air pollution and potential health impacts. Studies examine the role of traffic-related air pollutants on the initiation of asthma and other diseases in children and cardiovascular disease in adults. Are there actions that may reduce pollution concentration near these major roadways? There are a number of approaches that appear promising for reducing the air pollutions near roadways. In addition to reducing vehicle emissions, other approaches involve design of transportation projects and design of buildings. For example, research suggests that sound walls, cut sections, and roadway vegetation can reduce traffic-related air pollution. Isn't it time we fight for the seniors, children of Brick, Greenbrier, Evergreen Woods, Brick High, and all the rest? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Sluka. Anybody else from public, please? Yes, sir.
Robert Palmisano, Broad Avenue, Normandy Beach. I had written the mayor a letter or an email earlier this week and copied the Joanne Bergen on it as well. received a response from him today, and I wanted to follow up with some questions, but I see he's not here, so maybe the council or administrator can answer. First was the status of the brick grant application for road elevation on Broad Avenue. The joint application between Toms River and Brick has been approved, as most of you know. It's been designed, and now it's out to the homeowners for approvals. I've been here for over 3 or 4 years now, asking when the section of Broad Avenue, which is the lowest point, is going to be raised. I know Brick has applied several times for state grants, and they've been denied those grants. The mayor said he has a meeting this week with the New Jersey OEM, and that's the first question. So I want to follow up and say, what is the status of that grant? Because rumor had it last year's grant was denied because the township missed a deadline. And if it is granted, is the money, the additional township monies in the 2022 capital budget?
I can answer, Council President. So, the mayor's response to you for your question with the grant was, the BRIC grant is a rolling application process. I am meeting with the NJOEM this week, and it will be the first discussion I have.
Right.
Hopefully, they'll provide some insight. So as he indicated to you that it's rolling and we have not been advised. We were denied once last year, and it's absolutely not true that we missed a deadline. I think I sent the group, including yourself, an email that talked about how many applications and the dollars worth were submitted versus what was awarded, and that was a large part of the reason why we weren't funded, is there just simply wasn't enough money to go around, so we have submitted again.
Okay. Well,
The
just
status of when your section is going to be done is unknown, as we've been telling you that from the very first time you asked it.
for 20
So
years.
we can't predict the future. Last year's capital budget, the largest amount given to any one project was the elevation project in Normandy Beach. Nothing on this year's 9-page capital budget comes anywhere near what we allotted last year. This coming year, we are doing some dredge projects, and next year, we're looking to elevate some roads in Shore Acres. So it is unknown for anyone to be able to tell you when we are going to be coming.
So there's no
unless
money in
that
this
grant
year's
is
capital
awarded.
budget?
There is no money in this year's capital budget.
Just, as you know from the joint, it was on page 7 of 27 of the report that was given by Toms River and Brick. Toms River already completed 5 road elevations. They have 4 in design phase and 1 in construction. How come they're getting all these approvals as one town getting grant monies when Brick has not ever gotten grant money for a road elevation project?
All of Toms River's roadway elevation projects were funded by the DOT. Every year, we submit a DOT application, and every year, we are funded as well. They have not applied for BRIC funding. They have not received BRIC funding. They do this through the municipal aid program. We chose to apply for the municipal aid program for areas throughout town as opposed to one area. But our track record is 100% the same.
Is there a reason why we're not applying for DOT if they're being that successful and getting all these
We are
projects
applying for
approved?
DOT, but we're applying for DOT in other areas of town,
Okay. Is there a reason why not for Broad Avenue?
because we just did last year, and we have a large town to cover and a lot of need.
Well, no, last year was a joint project with Toms River.
Which was an NJDOT grant, yes.
Right, and why, and
which we
the rest of
matched with
Broad Avenue, is
significant
there a
capital
reason why
funding.
you didn't apply for that grant instead of the BRIC grant?
I couldn't hear you because I was speaking, I'm sorry.
Why didn't you apply as BRIC alone for the DOT grant rather than the BRIC grant, the one that's in process now?
Why didn't we apply for the DOT a second year in a row?
Yeah,
No, because we applied DOT the next year to another area of town that also needs attention.
all right, secondly, the snow fencing, which I don't know if anyone has seen the beach, anywhere from 5th Avenue to 9th Avenue in Brick Township. This is a picture of the snow fencing in Brick. There's no snow fencing. The snow fencing is all buried from the sand being blown up, which it's supposed to do. This snow fencing was installed when they replenished the beach about 4 or 5 years ago. It's ironic that the Brick beaches from 9th Avenue north, including Dovell and into the Brick public beaches, have brand-new snow fence. I asked the mayor about it. He said, again, the county, his response was, snow fencing for the beach is included in our capital budget. Unfortunately, the county cut back on the amount they sent to us over the past 2 years, so we had to include it in our capital budget. So having said that, when is the new snow fencing going to be installed in the Normandy Beach section?
The capital budget is being introduced tonight. It will be adopted at the May 24th meeting, if I'm correct, Lynette? Scheduled for second
Yes.
reading on the 24th?
Yes.
And then they become available several weeks after that. There's a time period where the money becomes available. So then we have to go through the process of procurement for the snow fencing. So
But-
you won't see it this summer.
But the irony is, I questioned this a year ago, and he said the same thing. It was the township's responsibility because the county had cut them back.
And
And
a
we
year
still-
ago, our capital budget was done, so the best we could do was put it in this year's capital budget, and that's exactly what we did.
If I need time, do I need to sit down and come back up? Or
No.
That's
one
up
other-
to the council president.
You can keep going.
All right, and then the last topic is, as you're all aware, there's a lawsuit going on between the NBIA, Normandy Beach, and the NBA with homeowners regarding beach access. And my understanding is the township is granting permits for homeowners that live on the beach to destroy the dune grass and create paths, walkways to the ocean. When there are signs all over the dunes stating, "Stay off the dunes," DEP, New Jersey DEP Ordinance 162-4. How does the township have the right to, and why are they issuing permits for individual homeowners to access the beach if it's a DEP issue?
Council
Mr.
President,
Starkey, sure.
Mayor, you're correct. There was a lawsuit that was filed a couple years ago between a homeowner in Normandy Beach
Yep.
seeking that walkover. The township was unfortunately dragged into that lawsuit, as was the NBA. The township did not issue a permit to that homeowner. Judge Hodgson, who's in Ocean County Superior Court in that case, ruled about 3 months ago that the homeowner was entitled to have his permit for the dune walkover. So the township processed that permit and granted the dune walkover. Now, just to be clear, the township has very, very little discretion on those dune walkovers. Those are DEP regulations. The DEP says when walkovers can be placed over the dunes, and they have regulations about the size. They can be 4 feet wide. They need snow fencing on either side. The township's permit process is only to make sure that the DEP regulations are followed. The township does not have the authority to deny a permit, and Judge Hodgson told us that specifically. He said this has to be granted.
So is that why we went from one homeowner in that area to now there's about 7?
Judge Hodgson's ruling was that the NBA, your association, could not block homeowners from applying for and obtaining permits for dune walkovers from the DEP and the township. So yes, that applies to the entirety of the NBA. In fact, I think it probably applies to the other associations in town as well.
So do the homeowners need a permit to have that access?
Yes,
They have to apply for a permit
from
from the municipality.
and the DEP, right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from public, please? Yes, sir.
Joe Gass of 218 Circle Drive. I was also hoping the mayor was going to be here tonight. I was more or less looking to see exactly how you go about using his open door policy, which I've always applauded, but I've never been able to get to see himself. I've met with Ms. Bergen a few times, but keep requesting to see with the mayor, and I've never get an answer back or get to meet him directly.
Well, I will pass your message along. I think we're all familiar with what you want to meet with him about. And his
Yes.
position has been, as recently as this morning, that you need to work everything out with our engineering department. Agreed, disagreed, they've been very clear on what they expect from you to get a CO for your properties, and I don't think there's any ambiguity in what I read. So his position is that you need to satisfy what they're requesting for you to do, that he's not going to usurp that or overrule that in any way.
But it's going a lot further than that. It's yourself, like I say, we've been in a few times when you've met there down with me, worked things out at the time, but I mean, now we're coming discrepancies with variances and board hearings where there's different requirements from myself that I don't see being forward to anyone else on it. I mean, they're open public meetings. I'll be at that meeting tomorrow also to address it on it. But I mean, there's a lot of restrictions being applied to myself that I don't see any other applicants having the same applied to.
Well, I don't know how you could possibly know that for all the applications that come in, but from the change that I read and the communications I have, it's consistent, it's clear, and it's not getting done. And that is what has to be done for you to get a CO. When your process is over and done and you have what you need and you've completed all the requirements, if you'd like to meet to talk about how you suggest we improve our processes, at that time, I'd be happy to meet with you. I'm sure the mayor would, but not when you're in the middle of trying to get something done and you want him to overrule, because he won't do that.
Well, you're referring to one home. I'm referring to subdivision applications, which are easy enough. If you see even the Brenton Woods application, all of them are preliminary/final. I was told that we weren't able to do that. I had to go through preliminary and then come back for final. Most of the applications that I see coming up are all preliminary/final.
My advice to you is to work diligently with the staff downstairs who ultimately issues the COs and permits. That's who you have to deal with.
Yeah, that's not working.
It could work.
No, it's not working. We know
But
that.
He's not going to overrule them. He's not going to tell them to issue a CO that they're not.
I'm not looking to see, Joanne. I'm looking to see the discrepancies in the applications for subdivisions. Mine was only a 6-lot. This is a 59-lot on it there.
Which is before the planning board, so it's not comparable.
But it was accepted. We were denied. We were told we couldn't even make application that way.
Okay, I'm sure they'll build their roads and they'll do what they're required to do, but you're not comparing apples to apples. They are just presenting testimony to a planning board now.
But the application, before it's even able to be presented, the title block on the application has to read the proper way. We had ours preliminary/final and was told it had to be taken off and changed.
Okay.
Yet all the others are coming in are the same.
Debate it all day, but you're in the wrong place, because nothing you say to me or the mayor is going to have us go downstairs and have them change.
These are the questions, like I said, I wasn't looking to open, I was looking to speak and ask to see.
Which after you're resolved downstairs, he'll be happy to meet with you, as will I, to talk about your suggestions to improve the process.
I have several applications now, not just the one CO. We have permits in, we have subdivisions in. You keep referring to the one. I'm looking to one that's still coming up on it that way there, and it's still being handled wrong. And I still have to make application for final meetings. That has nothing to do with the CO of the other home that's sitting there.
Okay, you have a lot going on downstairs, and your position is if you meet with us, we're going to go down, and we've tried to coordinate communication, open communications. That's as far as we'll go. Those folks downstairs ultimately have the right to issue and not issue, and there's nothing that we are going to do or intervene to force them to do anything different than what they expect or believe to do as per their licenses.
So then they are able to turn around and pick and choose the way people are present applications.
Well, I wouldn't say it the way you're saying it. They're processing it fairly. They've been open, they've been communicative. I've seen countless emails where things are explained. So I know they're trying, just like you're trying. But if you can't get there, you have to take a breath and figure out why. The mayor's not going to overturn that.
But I've never put in any applications or their emails in reference to the subdivisions I've referred to now.
Okay,
These are
well,
thing that
maybe you
I've been
should
looking to talk.
Maybe you should finish one before you start the other, because again, he doesn't determine what's required in a subdivision. He has no role in that. So why would meeting with the mayor be beneficial to you?
Just to see who makes the rules and who's to turn around and show what's required. I was told you can't put preliminary/final on that way there.
You're asking the wrong person.
I can tell you from a legal perspective that the people in charge of things like you're talking about is the construction official and the zoning officer, and they don't report to the mayor on things like that. They report to the state DCA, and they're comply with the municipal land use law and the construction regulations. The mayor actually doesn't have the authority to override them. So my suggestion is you meet either with the planning board, just said you're going to do, or the construction official or zoning officer, or speak with them, because they're the ones with the authority over how the process works.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from public, please? Yes, sir.
Joanne, so just so I'm clear, the township applied for the brick grant. If that's granted this year, how long is that grant good for if there's no money in the 2022 capital budget to raise Broad Avenue?
It's a rolling application, and when we are awarded, if we're noticed awarded a grant and we have to match the grant, we can also do a separate bond ordinance specific to that if that case were to happen.
You can. But is there a time frame? Like, is that grant good for if you don't use the money in X amount of time, you forfeit it back to the state?
I would imagine there is. I would imagine it's a lengthy time frame, and we've never turned money back for a project that we couldn't do. We
Right, so
turned
the
money
money-
back when we've modified a project, downsized it for whatever reason, but we've never missed a deadline if we've gotten a grant.
And then one last question, the grant, the brick grant that was applied for, is it specifically for Broad Avenue, the Normandy Beach section, or are there multiple sections of town?
It's Broad Avenue in the Normandy section.
The Normandy section. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else from public, please? Seeing none, closed public. This brings us to council comments. Mrs. Bergen.
I actually have one. So I wanted to say congratulations and send our best wishes to Rick Orlando. The mayor and I were thrilled to be able to be with him last week when he received the 2002 Fire Protection Inspector of the Year Award from the New Jersey State Prevention and Protection Association. He was awarded that grant by Kevin Batesel, our fire official, so it was a very, very special ceremony. The mayor and myself were there, along with the police chief and Dan Newman, our construction official. Of course, his wife and family were there as well. It was a very special day, very well-deserved award, and it just goes to show the caliber of folks that we have as township employees and also through the Fire Bureau and the work that they do for us and our firefighters. So I was very honored to share his special day, and I wanted to extend our congratulations to him on this prestigious award.
Thank you. Mr. Starkey.
You know, with the mayor not being here, I feel like I should say something just to take up, but I don't have any comment tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Nothing, thank you.
Madam Secretary.
No comment.
Councilman Albanese.
No comment.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to congratulate the girls from Brick United Division 10 cheer again, and you probably noticed that some of us, myself included, were kind of stumbling over our words a little bit, because for many years, it was Brick Dragons and Brick Mustangs youth football. And recently, and I say recently because with COVID 2020, 2021, just kind of all as one big lump, so I'm not exactly sure the exact date, but somewhere in there, the two sides of town came together and merged their football and cheer programs. So it's thrilling to see our young people coming together like that after having been so divided for so many years, and then taking their game all the way to the national champions. So congratulations again to the girls and the coaches, and that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung.
Nothing this evening.
Councilwoman Pontarera.
Nothing this evening. Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran.
Well, I was kind of hoping for a demonstration of the cheerleaders right here. It would have been great. But congratulations to them anyway, Brick United. We appreciate and for their hard work and dedication. I also would like to congratulate Rick Orlando. He's a great guy. He deserves the award, and I look forward to seeing him and congratulating him in person. That's all I have.
Thank you. Council Vice President Crate.
I have nothing.
Thank you. So for me, this week, because of this plastic bag ban, been a rough day. Yeah. So I was one of the guys that went food shopping and didn't have any bags. So it was one of those days where I was putting stuff and then putting it back in the basket, and it was a nightmare. So again, if you go on the NewJersey.gov website, it tells you where you can get plastic bags for certain products, like if you have raw fish or raw chicken or something like that, or fruits and vegetables, you'll still get those plastic bags in the food stores. But if you go on the website, it'll tell you. So also, paper bags are available someplace. Straws, you have to ask for a straw. If you go out someplace, you want something to drink, you have to ask for a straw. They're not just going to give you a straw anymore. Yeah, paper straws, but even that I found I have to ask for that. Also, styrofoam container, polystyrene containers are no more. There's actually a grace period on that, I believe, where it's because there's companies that I guess purchase them, so there's a grace period that you can still get that, but you're not going to get a bag to carry that out, that's for sure. So again, you can go on the website. It's nj.gov/DEP/get some other /past/plastic. So it's a website, but I'm sure if you go on the NJDOT website or DEP website, you'll find it. You can navigate through it. Also, our next meeting is Tuesday, May 24th, 2022, at 7 p.m. here. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.